Hey everybody, so I promised a couple of folks at work that I would make up for a really poor presentation that went off the rails. I guess I was busy doing actual work or something, but this may surprise all, I don't know, whatever there is, like 14 of my subscribers. I don't actually get paid to make music. I do this for fun, and I'm actually a software engineer, and I lead a team at work, and I wanted to do something to just inspire culture around work, anything that you're doing. I call it, I think, the STEM, Friday STEM fun or something, you know, science, technology, anything. It doesn't have to be particularly, we obviously write code at work and write software. It could be, you know, electrical project, whatever's fun for you. And I wanted to just get the ball rolling by showing this off. It kind of went a little bit off the rails. It's hard to do this, I think, and prepare for all of this within half an hour, to be honest, after having gone and set myself up and made sure that everything is going to go smoothly. Having said that, let's take you through what we got going on here. One, there's nothing novel about this. So I've written this software and it redirects MIDI signals from these devices to one another. There's desktop audio workstation software that will do that for you. Like LMS is one that I'm thinking of. I think Logic Pro, I don't know. I've obviously looked it up. There's other apps you can buy that will redirect MIDI for you. You can get them for your phone, etc. There's this term, DAWless jam. I'm definitely really into that. In spite of being a software developer, like earlier mentioned, it's this whole separate side. STEM and math. I've tried Fruity Loops, and that's to make electronic music and play around with that. I'd be interested to try Fruity Loops again better. In that vein, this is something I got done over time after work. It's developed with extremely poor discipline, but it does work fairly reliably, although it didn't work all that reliably on my presentation that I did, because I've been messing with it. As I mentioned, I want to release a better version of this. I also want to release this like free beer, free speech, and without incurring a huge cost to myself. I'm going to try and make that available and deploy this on iOS, Android, and Mac and PC, and Linux, for all you Linuxers out there. Without further ado, let's show you what problems it solves. I came to the idea when I think I was doing things like hacking these cables and, I don't know, finding it I think I bought this. It's not particularly hard to use. I've never actually plugged in or used this USB MIDI Pro. It's just on my little rig here to look cool. That would allow you to, as an example, if you wanted to use this keyboard to control, more than one of the synth engines, it'd be kind of frustrating to do. You could connect the output of this to the input of the circuit tracks, and then the MIDI through into the JDXI, so that I could use this to control, let's say, like a different sound setting in here, and I wanted to keep this keyboard controlling. This has, I think, 3 sound engines and then an analog bass engine, and a drum machine. So there's, like, if you were doing a live jam, that is to say, or just doing something on the fly, you might want access to any one of those things at the same time. You'd need a signal combiner to come from the through and the output to go back into the input here, like if you wanted to, for example, record into your sequencer on the circuit tracks. I think I put this on order on Amazon or something, and it was coming in a couple days. And I was like, well, what happens if I, use the MDN web MIDI API and just reroute these MIDI signals where, how well does it work? Does it work in real time? I didn't have any of this fancy UI going here. I was really happy with the results. So I just, took off improving it in little ways, and I won't even take you through everything that this does at the moment, but take you through a couple of important features. I'll show you a brief, maybe introductory jam. So let's take this QX25. Nothing ever goes right. Ah, there we go. Anyway, so that's great. We've hooked this up into the bass. This is sort of what I use that for. And this is, keyboard isn't, there we go. So let's send this off to the JDXI. I think we'll need to set the channel. Let's send this just to, I think it was actually sending on all signals. So I've got sort of some soft pads up here, different voice up here. And I could even, I've got this cool, get a cool sound going on. And then route to the JDXI's analog bass machine. I think it's on MIDI 3. Yes, it is. Yeah, it sounds really cool. And so, furthermore, let's plug in. I wonder if this is going to stop my screen recording. Let's make sure to start that again if I do. Here's my looper. Here's the last little thing I might plug into this. And this just shows an example of, routed a couple devices here and selected channels that they control. Let's take the boss, just the clock signals. Take everything I'm doing here and route it to the 4. So I'll start getting some hits as I'm playing my bass line, which is a cool thing. Just a way that, you'd have to have like a Y splitter or something that doesn't even work. To be honest, that's another example of a way you can, kind of split and combine signals. It works better to split signals in my experience than it does to combine them. It's extremely unreliable for that. And kind of breaks the MIDI specification. Having said that, this is, a great example of how you can just sort of use it to create a basic jam that would take you mountains of cables to set up and everything. I don't even need to bother sequencing it. Maybe just a really fun way to play with everything. If you know your equipment really well, there's loads and loads of possibilities to make very specific routings and do things you couldn't otherwise do. One last little feature about this is just the ability to sniff out your MIDI signals. So you can see I'm getting I have a bunch of messages here. All I did is press and hold on the screen. It's the same as like your right click action. And it's a great way if you're connecting in a new device, you want to do something specific with it, you want to know like what channel it's on, you get some hex details too if that's useful for you, all kinds of different things that you can use this, I call it the sniffer screen, to just see what's going on under the hood with your MIDI devices. And yeah, that's essentially it. I should wrap this up. I'll do maybe a couple of quick examples of other things that it's just led me to that I wouldn't have otherwise come to. Like, for example, this is a gift from my good friend Gerald Taylor. Naturally, he knows I appreciate this and use it still. I haven't replaced it with a jammy stick yet. And in fact, now some people might argue I still don't know how to make chords or, do anything on the keys. But I definitely, while I was still figuring it out, something like this was really cool. It's a synth engine of itself. I already tested this. You can't control the synth engine with any of the external inputs that if anyone else knows how to use the U-Rock guitar to that end, by all means, let me know. Should pop up here. Yeah, here we go. Let's route it to the circuit tracks, which, by the way, is one of my favorite little probably coming in on channel 1, which doesn't control anything on that. So we'll have it go to channel, I think 5 and 6 are the this will make like a bass. As an example, something I didn't show off yet. So some people, your MIDI keyboard may well have the ability to set this up within its software too. This is still a little bit more fluid, real time, and you can just swap it like that. And I know the one I have is not, you can't press the key. You have to, convert the key into a note number, which is actually really frustrating. Like this is a little bit more natural. So I'm going to set up a split here. What I'm doing is, if I'm on channel, so first of all, I'm just going to set this on this channel 7, and let's say below F, I wanted to go to a bass, and let's say I'll actually switch that. Above F, I want to go to a different thing here. Did I press the right? Oh, I don't know. I think the screen's not catching up or something. That's weird. Anyway, so you can see I'm getting 2 distinct voices out of my circuit tracks with one keyboard here, and you can sort of like. Line and a lead with your circuit tracks. Didn't otherwise have an ability to split the keyboard within the device itself, so it's useful to that end. So I mean, check out this guitar. I could turn the bottom strings into a bass as well. It should go to 6, that should go to 5. Anyway. As you can see, if you were prepared and knew what you wanted to do, the world's your oyster with this stuff.